But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me? Silhouettes of you like.
Remember, I told you to use your iron to mark out the shoulder line. That's the exact middle of your shoulder across. Okay, so now I want you to pick up those parts. So okay, we even have a notch. Very good. You see this place that we notched over here? That's the notch that we notched when we're looking for the center of. I want you to join them together again. So you pick up this side and align it with the other side over here. Okay, and then I want you to lay it on the table. Lay it flat. As you are folding your Bubu into four, like so. Okay, so the reason why we went through folding all this folding that I'm doing and folding it into a perfect half is because it has an elastic at the end of the sleeve. Okay, it doesn't really have sleeves, but at the end of the Bubu, where your hands will come out of, there's an elastic there. So that's what we're going to try. That's what we're going to do now. We're going to make provision for this elastic. Now, for most people, which we're making this for, you're going to come down by 12 inches. Okay, from here, come down by 12 inches and make a mark. If you want the hole to be bigger, you can come down all the way to 14, but 12 inches is going to be okay. So I'm measuring 12 inches from here down, 12 inches. And then you're going to measure in to 4 inches. So from here, coming by 4 inches and make a mark, okay? And then we're going to connect from the 12 to the 4 inches in. So 12 inches down, 4 inches in. And then we're going to draw a line. But as you're ruling this line, we don't want to take this line straight down to the end because it will steal too much of our excess away. So we want to create provision for the sleeve, for the hole for our hands to come out of, and then slowly taper back out so that the bottom part of the dress is still full, but don't make it so sudden that there is a hip all of a sudden. Okay, you want to slowly taper out from the top, and by the time you hit around where the hip is supposed to be, you should have fully gone back to the way it was. So we don't want this cut to take away all of our excess. We need it to be as big as possible. We cannot be looking for fullness and be giving fullness away. So yeah, watch how I'm cutting this. Okay, so we're going to come from the bottom, not the bottom really, but just from a bit lower down the body, and slowly taper out. And by the time we start getting towards the this angle that we made, we want to make this angle a curve. Okay, you see that? And then we cut out. See what I just did there? See that curve? You need to have that curve. You don't want it to be a sharp angle. Slowly taper out to the body. Yeah, so next step. Okay, so after you've done this, the next step is for us to hem our sleeves. So the hole that we just created, we're going to hem it. We're not going to finish it for now, but just hem it so that we know that we've held this down. How we are going to hem it is, you are going to first fold half an inch, and then you are going to bend 1 inch. You see that? Half. Alright, after we've made this fold, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm simply going to stitch from the bottom all the way up. Okay, we're going to stitch across this fold I made to hold it in place. I'm going to install elastic here later on, 1 inch elastic through here later on, but for now I'll iron the other side and then I will stitch them down and we'll proceed to the next step. Okay, so now on to the next step. What I want you to do is we're going to come from the shoulder. Now the next step, first of all, is we want to start creating the pleats at the bottom. Okay, so that the fullness we would have at the bottom. So to do that, we're going to measure from the shoulder to around 36 inches. That's where the first pleat is going to sit. And we're going to come from the shoulder and we're going to come down to 36 inches and make a mark. So here we have 36 inches. We're going to make a mark around here. That's where the first pleat is going to stop. It's very important that you do this either on the floor or on a large table where you will have space. Okay. So I have adjusted. This is where I have my mark. I'm going to pull it until the mark is just around here. Make sure you keep it at the point where you're comfortable ironing anyway. But the reason why I keep pushing up is because I'm folding up until my hem, that's the back. Because remember, the back is shorter than the front. So until this hem is on the same level with the table, I'm going to keep on adjusting so I can make my pleats comfortably. Alright? Okay, so under here, under the table, you see this length we have from the back having, okay? See this length that the back has. This length that we have here, this is the desired length that we are looking for, okay? The reason why this one is longer is because remember we're supposed to have pleats on the bottom of the dress, okay? We're going to have pleats, drapes, sorry, not pleats, we're going to have drapes, use pleat to make drapes to create that nice fullness we have in front. That's why the front is a lot longer than the back. So now we're going to use pleats to gradually consume this excess that we have in the front until the front and the back are the same length. I hope that's clear. So we're going to do that by making pleats. The first pleat that we have is going to sit on this level, and then we'll place it gradually as we move down. Okay, I hope you understand. So let's start. The thing about making stuff like this is that a lot of it relies on creativity, feel, and you going with the flow. So I've thought about how to explain this to you guys a lot, trying to give you guys numbers, but most times it doesn't really work because it's always best to I could say consume 5 pleats, 5 inches of pleats with each pleat, and then that would I could take the measurements. Okay, I could take the measurements, and then I will be able to give you, I could take the measurement of excess that I have, and I'll be able to give you a number of pleats that you would make that will consume all. But most times that might not be the best results. That might not give you the best results. So a lot of it has to go with draping, has a lot to do with, you know, the flow and how going with how it looks and how you feel when you do the drape. So just I'll show you the technique I would use to consume the bottom. Use that as a guide for whatever you want to do. I will speed this part up, but I won't speed it up so much that you can't see what I'm doing. So just watch and see. But I'm going to use pleats to slowly consume this part, iron it straight until I've gotten what I want. So for me, I ended up using just 1, 2, 3, 4 pleats to take up all of my excess. So you can see now the front. You can see now the front and the back are the same length. So I'm going to iron this all the way down. Make sure it's flat, perfectly flat, and then I'm going to use pins. Okay, I'm going to use pins to secure the ends. So I'm going to use pins to, after I've ironed, I'm going to use pins to secure here. And I'm going to use pins to secure this part here as well. And after I have done that, I'm going to head back to my sewing machine and run a line on them to hold them in place, and we'll move on to the next step. Now, though you have creative flow, now you have the creative license to do whatever you want in terms of how you want your pleats to look. So if you want to do a lot of pleats or little pleats, or if you want to make or if you want to do some large and some big, some small. But one thing you must not do is to make your pleats face down. So you can see all my pleats are facing towards the shoulder, they are not facing the hem. You can see all of them are all facing up, so make sure they are all facing up. Make them face down, it will not drape the way it's supposed to at the end of the day. That's the only rule you have when it comes to this first set of pleats that we're making towards trying to create the draped effect we have in front. Alright, so yeah, I've stitched the sides like I said I would, and if I pick it up, you'll see the down part has started to form the drapes. I don't know if it's coming through on the camera, but it's starting to form the drapes. So to complete this process, the next step would need to be done on a mannequin. In my case, the next step will be done on a wife, but I strongly recommend I use a mannequin instead, because they are less expensive to maintain. If you call them to come once that you want to do something on their body, they are not going to tell you I'm coming, and they're not going to make you call them 10 times. So I strongly recommend a mannequin instead of a wife, but we'll make do with the wife for now. So let's move on to the next step, draping on the body. So now for the next step, like I said, you're going to need a mannequin. We're going to pin, we're going to make, you can keep your hands down, you can relax. We're going to make 6 drapes here. Make sure that all the pleats that you're making are facing up, and don't worry if as you're making the pleats it doesn't look complete, but once you join the front and the back, you will notice how the drapes will form the chandelier effect. So for the first part, like I said, 6 pleats. Make sure not to carry too much. You can pick up like 2 inches, okay, and then you bring it all the way up to the bottom of the band. All right, and then you pin. Okay, so
hey, what they do?
Okay, let's start pinning. So you're going to pick up, like I said, 2 inches, and then you pin it. Please make sure that you have, you are using the center. Don't go and carry from the side, and don't go and take here and drape and put here. That's going to give you a problem. That's going to cause a problem. Try and make sure that you are pinning right where you are supposed to. The problem there is me pinning your shirt that you're wearing under. So now you can see after pinning this, and you can see the effect is already starting to have. It's already having that draped effect that we desire in front. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take it off my mannequin, and I'm going to stitch a line from here to come down. Okay, if you want, you can run like 2 lines in order to secure it in place so that it doesn't rip in future. So just run 2 lines. So what you can do is you can start from the top, okay, stitch all the way down. When you get to the bottom, you run like a 1/4 inch stitch across. So you do like an L, and then you go back up. That way you have 2 stitches securing your drapes in place, because you don't want your threads breaking after the dress has been sewed. So I'm going to go and make that stitch, and then we'll try and finish this up. Alright, so now after I did the draping in the center, you can see that I made a stitch here, okay, to hold it in place, and you can see that it's a double stitch. I came from up, came down, made a U, and went back up. After I did that, I installed my elastic on this opening here and finished the side. So let me show you how you go about this on this other side. First of all, you're going to need to cut your elastic. I cut my elastic here using 11 inches, okay, so 11 inches, and I'm going to basically pass it through this hole. So however you're comfortable doing this, you can use a safety pin if you want, but for me, this is what I do because I don't have a safety pin here. But yeah, a safety pin hooked around this, and you just simply pass it through. But I like to use this, and you're going to simply use this to pass the elastic through here. So you've seen that after passing it through, I used my pins to hold the elastic in place. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to join both sides. So you see, this is the clean side. We're going to turn the sleeve inside, and then we're going to make a stitch from here all the way down to the hem of the dress, and that's basically the last stitch that I'm going to make